Good evening. How are we doing, everybody? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can see the screen. Let me know if the music's too loud. And I'm lagging. My internet's been having major trouble, so right, just setting a few things up here. How was y'all day? How was y'all's day? If you were green today, give me some G's in the chat. If you were red today, give me some R's in the chat. If you didn't trade today because it's a newsless Monday and you know better, give me a Monday in the chat. Anyways, the internet connection, yeah, it's bad, bro. It's bad. I know. Yeah, it's I don't know what to do about it, bro. It's something we live and deal with around these parts. But if it's really bad, I mean, we may not even be able to do the forecast. Like, I don't even see my screen right now. It's so blurry. I wonder if it's you guys. I wonder if it's that way for you guys too, or if it's clear. But on my end, it's quite blurry. All right, so what's up? I mean, I have not changed the live stream times. They're still gonna be on Sundays on YouTube. As for what you said here, Nane, wherever you've been, man, ditched this recently. I have been traveling the last few weekends and haven't had time to like do the standard forecast on Sunday at our usual time and place. So apologies for that, but yeah, I've just been out and about the last couple weekends. I was in the Keys for the Keys. I was in New York. Just got back today, last night. But time to lock back in, guys, and get situated for the week here. But I did not take a trade today. There was no opportunities on indices, on my end over here for the pulse model. It was just a straight rocket at open. Sure, we all saw that, and it was just literally just blast off from the moment 9:30 opened, and there was really no opportunity. I can't really do much with a straight up movement without some sort of retracement into a higher time frame gap or a sweep of major liquidity. There's just really nothing I can do if it's just a straight rocket at open. So nothing for me there. Yeah, today's a trade day. I mean, what's up, Cannon? I was looking for a trade myself as well. I just didn't see anything. Like I mentioned, it was just a straight rocket. I wonder what you took, Cannon. What'd you trade on that you took a loss? Because not every loss has a reason behind it. Maybe you took a good loss. Didn't stress out about it. If it followed your plan. But we'll get started shortly, guys. If you're waiting, we'll start around 5. Let some people come in now. Let me make an announcement on my live forecast right now. Get to the comments in a second. Just one moment. I missed this. I missed the YouTube. Been a minute. Been a couple weeks. And now the internet's gone. What's the truth about traveling and trading? Can you do it? Yeah, you can. You can absolutely do that. I travel a lot and I also trade. I just find the time to actually sit down in a good environment to do so. Focused, no distractions, and get to it and get to work. I think it's very possible. Just have to. I'm very methodical with where I stay on vacation. I really make sure, double check that the internet is first of all top notch when I am traveling out and about. Which is funny I say that because in my own home I probably have the worst internet I've ever experienced anywhere in the world, as you all can see live in action. That is pretty ironic, right? One moment, almost done posting this. All right. All right. We're just gonna go over the forecast list right here. Not too long of a session. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. Trying to get it in around 30 minutes and wrap it up there. Every week we want a video. I'm trying. I have a series planned. I have a series planned coming soon where I'm gonna drop a video every 5 days. I have like an 8-episode series coming. So that will be in the works, release this month into next month. But yeah, we'll get a little more frequency on the YouTube for sure. Have to film them all, edit them, and then we'll start uploading them. We'll have like I just mentioned, a 5-day interval between the videos. I think you guys will like that. Sweet, Cannon. Glad you learned what that lost. What's up, Volt? What's up, Sad Khan Jadoon, my guy? It's been a minute. Nice to see you here. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna pull out the economic news calendar right here. Now that is 5. Forex Factory. Waiting for Forex Factory to load up here. It's taking many business days. All right, there it is. All right, before we begin, let me know if the audio is all good. Let me know if everything is okay. So I'm not talking to myself or talking to a blank screen or no audio. Let me know if the lo-fi is too loud. Before we begin and get this done here, let me know in chat. New York was great, by the way, Nanny. It was excellent. I loved it. I love New York. I may move there. I may just move there for a bit. Because my girl applied for med school there. And we liked it. It'd be cool to live there for just a short amount of time. Not forever. I do love Miami. But just to change up the scene here a bit, I might do that if she does get into med school there. I may go along with her. But we loved it. New York's beautiful, man. 5 out of 5, looking good. Sweet, beautiful. Great. Let's get into it then. Oh, Discord's bullshit. Please come live on YouTube. Yep, we're back, baby. We're back, baby. All right, now let's do this. So, beginning with the economic news calendar, we all know this is the first thing we should be looking at every single week. It is our roadmap. Let me actually close chat so I don't. Twitter post Monday and today's Monday. We did not have any USD red folder news. We did have CHF CPI at 2:30 a.m. CAD bank holiday. So if you are a Forex trader, you could look at potential CHF pairs as there was this injector of volatility right here for some sort of intraday trades or potential swing trades. That being said, for me personally, my game plan, I'm not very interested in CHF pairs or spending too much time looking at them. as I've mentioned many times before, if I had to choose my least favorite currency, it would be the Swiss franc, and that's for USD CHF and all CHF cross pairs. They've never treated me well. They move really weird, and I've not had too much success on them. So I always want to tell you guys to have caution on those whenever you're trading CHF pairs. From experience, from many losses, for many years of trading Forex here, have caution with these Swiss franc pairs. They can be very tricky. Very tricky. All right, so yeah, that being said, Monday we had this. Well, going on Tuesday into tomorrow, we have 10 a.m. USD red folder news as well, and red folder for NZD right here. So my game plan going into tomorrow, and I'll speak a little more on actually how I'm utilizing some of the specific timings in the day when I'm trading indices now. I don't think I've spoken too much on this. I don't have a video on it. We're specifically regarding indices. So ES and NASDAQ right here. The way I'm utilizing this right here is, since there is no 8:30 news, my kill zone when I'm trading indices shifts. It shifts on newsless days, or on days with, again, no 8:30 news. It shifts from what it is, from initially 8:30 a.m. to 12 to now 9:30 a.m. to 12. Right? Because 9:30 a.m. in itself is a volatility driver. So if there is no 8:30, why wait for 9:30? And see what 9:30 does. Does it manipulate? Does it go into a higher time frame POI? Does it sweep major liquidity, session liquidity? I am waiting for 9:30 to present some sort of manipulation. And then 10 a.m. over here. If we get the 9:30 manipulation, I would be expecting 10 a.m. to continue that move. If 9:30 a.m. doesn't do anything, doesn't move, doesn't manipulate, it's flat, then potentially 10 a.m., my expectation is 10 a.m. may provide the manipulation. And then after that manipulation, we may see some form of expansion from 10 onwards, forming the open high low close, or open low high close of that next 4-hour candle, right? Because at 10 a.m. we open a new 4-hour candle on indices, right? That's the idea behind that. I hope that made sense to you guys. But essentially, the important times that you want to be keeping in mind when trading indices is 8:30, 9:30, and 10 a.m. I shift my kills into 9:30 to 12. All right. So moving on. Hopefully that makes. I just opened chat right here for a second to make sure we're all good. Is it laggy, guys? Is it laggy, guys? Sound? Oh boy. Are we cooked? No data. The stream will end shortly unless you restart your streaming browser. What? What? All right. Let me know if we're back. This is really bad. I know, guys. The internet's really bad right now. Let me know if we're back. Let me know if we're back. All right. I'm going to keep going assuming we are back. So moving on to Wednesday, like I just mentioned over here on USD, there is no 8:30 news. It is a newsless day, first of all. So you should be cautious, right? No news is potential consolidation day. No, news is the volatility injector. For indices, though, that can change because, like I mentioned, indices does have that built-in 9:30 a.m. injector every single day. So we can sort of see that as like a daily red folder news event. So for example, on Wednesday, what I'm going to do is, again, shift my kill zone from what it is at 8:30 to 12 to 9:30 to 12 and see if 9:30 presents some sort of volatility injection, some sort of manipulation into a higher time frame POI, liquidity sweep, and then see what we want to do after that. But if the 9:30 open is lethargic and just dull, then, and there's no 10 a.m. news to look forward to either, then that's when I pretty much just want to scrap the day. I'm not really interested in that. in a trading Wednesday. But just be very cautious, specifically on Forex pairs as well, as Forex is very news reliant. So I saw someone ask about, is this the same for Forex? No, because Euro USD, for example, does not have a equities open. None of these pairs have some sort of equities open at 9:30 like Indices and NQ. So that is specific to ES and NQ. They're unique in that they have that 9:30 open. That is a daily injector, which is why you'll see me literally just trade ES and NASDAQ any day of the week, regardless if there's news or not. Whereas Forex, I'm very, very much more demanding on having the news aspect of things, having red folder news events. The internet has never been this bad. It's actually really insane. I make sure we're good. All right, looks like we're back. Again, apologies for all the delays, but we're just gonna keep working through it. I know. Hopefully when it uploads, it's not like super laggy. All right, I think we're back. Let's just keep it pushing. Moving on to dollar, we are on the monthly time frame, and again, guys, we always want to be looking at the dollar first. It is the world reserve currency, and if we can find the bias on dollar, we can find the bias on all 7 of these majors right here, right? On 7 different assets. So we want to be looking at the dollar and getting an idea of what this is doing, and that'll help us so much when it comes to getting an idea of what all these are doing. Okay, so let's take a look at what the dollar is up to right here on a monthly basis, currently respecting previous month's high. So the first step when it comes to doing your top-down analysis is looking for your bias, and we do that using a couple things: order flow and candlestick logic. Based on the order flow, we have this bearish order flow leg right here just pointing lower, so we are currently in bearish monthly order flow. On a candlestick logic basis, we do have a respect of this previous month's high, right? These previous candle highs on the monthly, weekly, and daily are higher time frame points of interest and levels you want to keep an eye on, seeing how is price reacting off of them. It's not just about fair value gaps, it's not just about order flow legs, it is also about CSL, candlestick logic. That is just as important. Again, if you don't know what that is, I have an entire YouTube video on that explains that more. But just based on order flow, we're bearish. Candlestick logic, we are currently respecting previous month's high right there. Let's go down time frames and see what else this story is telling us. Let's see if we are getting bearish order flow on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on a 4-hour basis. Let's see what the order flow says on these time frames right here, which is what we want to pretty much be focusing on our forecast. Just the higher time frames on the weekly, daily, 4 hours, pretty much the minimum time frame you'll see me ever go on when it comes to doing these weekly forecasts. All right, the whole story, the majority of the hard work is done on these higher time frames. So you don't really have to go anywhere below these the 4 hour on your weekends, which is a Monday, but you know what I mean. So let's move down to the weekly. Let's see what new stories we can. If we're going lower, where can we go lower from, right? And let's see what the weekly is telling us. What is the order flow there saying? So this right here is the previous month's high sweep, but that previous month's high came in the same week, so that's why it looks kind of funky like this. But we'll just remove that for the sake of removing it right here, as that indicator will mark it as we go down in time frames. I know it's glitchy. I'm sorry, guys. I know. But I'm going to try to get through this. Otherwise, I won't ever get through it if I keep pausing. I know. All right. Going on to the weekly right here, we see a major rejection wick happening at The daily's not looking too bad either for lower prices. We are getting a daily bearish rally gap right here in about an hour and 43 minutes. At the same time, we are coming into this bullish daily fair value area right here. And we have been in weekly bullish order flow. We haven't been in daily bullish order flow as well. I would want to demand just a little extra confirmation right here. And once we do get the extra confirmation that we do want to move lower, you have very clear sell side targets on the dollar right here. So we have this daily fair value gap. I would want to see price come into this if we do want to retrace. I would wait for more confirmation that we do want to move lower off of that. So potential 4-hour fair value gap out of there, or a 1-hour chain if we do want to retrace up there. Or if we already want to continue moving lower, just new 4-hour fair value gaps right here, sinking deep into this daily area fair value, disrespecting this daily fair value gap. Something like that would also be interesting if we do already want to continue moving lower. I will be waiting for that. But I will say, I am leaning more towards a bearish outlook on the dollar. Potential market maker sell model right here. Here's that previous month's high being swept. Daily order flow shifting bearish. 4-hour order flow shifting bearish. Again, I want to demand a little more, just to feel comfortable, because again, dollar is it's in a bit of a weird spot, truthfully, with the fact that we had the weekly shift bullishly right here, come up, major rejection right here. I'm getting a bit of a weird vibe right here. I don't want to use the word vibe because that's not very specific, is it? But it's not entirely clear right now. We had this bullish intention formed, and then suddenly we just have this bearish intention coming at the same time. This feels a little bit 50-50 right here. I want to demand just a little more. When in doubt, again, guys, there's nothing wrong with this statement right here. When in doubt, demand more confirmation. If you are feeling doubtful here as to your bias, as to where price is going to go next, you don't have to force it. You can just legit wait for another order flow leg down. Wait for more displacement through this. Wait for price to disrespect another discount array. Wait for price to create extra confirmation off of here. You have options. You can wait it out and demand more confirmation if something's just unclear to you. So for me, I will be demanding just a little more right here as to what price wants to do. At this specific spot, I don't like. I want to wait until price either retraces into this daily, gives me some extra confirmation, want to move lower, or just already start displacing lower again. New 4-hour order flow legs starting to point lower, disrespecting this daily area fair value, and then we can target this low and then previous month's low. I think these are really nice targets if we do want to sell off right here, and that is what I will be looking for right there on the dollar, which actually is not too bad on euro. If we take a look at euro, that would be pretty nice and in alignment with an idea I saw over here on the higher time frame, where on euro, if you go to the weekly, and again, there's that previous month's respect right there, previous month's low respect. On a weekly basis, this is what does this look like? What kind of context type? We just had a video on it the other day. What does that look like? If dollar does want to do the do and start dumping, this can be quite interesting for pivot context. What I was referring to. This looks like some very interesting pivot context where we formed a swing low inside of our valley gap. We failed to expand off of this weekly fair value gap, created a swing low in there. If we still want to move higher, price can sweep this sell side right here, use this as a stop hunt, to then continue pushing higher. This is what we talked about in the pivot context video a few weeks ago. And this would be pretty nice in alignment with dollar if it doesn't want to start dumping. Again, just demanding a little more extra confirmation right here, just based on how aggressive this displacement was. But this daily is not looking too bad, not looking bad at all. Coming to that daily, longs can be interesting right here again. I would demand just a little extra confirmation if you do want to do that. Not bad. Not bad. So yeah, euro looks really good for longs. GU is a bit weaker. If we look at GU, we don't even have a daily bullish for value gap right here. So just keep in mind, relative strength wise, GU is looking a bit more lazy right here. Not as strong. So keep that in mind if the setup does want to form right there for the longs on euro. But yeah, I would focus on euro longs. I'm just going to mark in the long watch so I can view this for SMT. Maybe what can happen is GU, because what GU also has below, as you can see marked by the indicator right here, we do have the monthly fair value gap right here that we are not retraced into just yet. What would be cool, just to add a little extra confluence, is if GU somehow gets down here, euro holds this low that it's created right here off of that weekly pivot context, holds this low, we maybe get some sort of deeper retracement, we form SMT at the lows, GU comes into that monthly, and then we move higher off of that, get SMT right here, and get SMT on that low with euro, something like that. That can be really interesting. That would be my textbook setup if we do get that. Just adding the SMT as the extra cherry on top, that could be really nice. And then AUD USD, not as interesting. I've not really been interested in AUD USD. It's just been really choppy, really slow grind, lots of wicks up and down on the higher time frames on the weekly. So I have not looked at AUD USD, taken any trades on that in a while. I think the same can be said with NZD USD, just been a chop fest for many weeks now. We do have this monthly FEG down below. Let's come up to the monthly. Yeah, so there is this monthly FEG down below as well. That can be potentially interesting. Dollar does want to dump, but GU does look stronger, right? Does GU not look stronger right now than NZD USD? Or what about Euro? Does Euro not look stronger right now than NZD USD? So it really doesn't make sense to want to long this over something like Euro, which is much stronger in much more bullish conditions, less bearish arguments going against it, just more trending. So that's how I'm filtering out through these majors right here what asset I want to trade. It's all about relative strength. It's all about stacking up the arguments between all of these majors and finding the one that's in most correlation to the dollar. So if we had that bearish bias potentially on dollar, I'm looking at longs right here. I'm looking at the ones at the majors right here with the most bullish arguments and the least opposing arguments going against it, which for me that would be Euro looking the most strong right here, whereas AUD doesn't even have a bullish for value gap going higher. We don't even have a bullish for value gap. You don't even see the displacement right there. GU, you don't even see that big displacement right there that we just saw on the dollar. Clearly the strength leader right there. So that's how I'm doing things and filtering. So I'll just mark both of these on the long watch and observe GU for a potential SMT right there. And USD base right here. So when USD is in the beginning of a Forex pair, you would now switch this because now this moves in alignment with dollar, right? This moves in the same direction. Whereas over here, USD is in the quote, so it moves inverse, in case you did not know that. But USD right here now, if dollar potentially wants to move lower, USD CAD, do we have a reason to potentially move lower? I don't really like the way this is looking. Quite strong. Weekly. Because I would want to get the weakest looking one right here. If dollar's going to move lower, I'd want to get the weakest looking one of these. Which none of these look really nice. They look really chopped, in all honesty. I think UJ looks the weakest out of all of them. I'd be more interested in Euro. In Euro longs. I think that looks the best. I don't even like where JPY is right now. It's literally just in this range. JPY is not interesting to me. You guys know how I feel about USD CHF pairs. We are in this monthly fair value gap, but I am just not a fan of CHF pairs right now. You guys know how I feel about them. They tend to not really move nice. But this is not bad. I mean, we do have, let's take a look at this objectively here. We do have this monthly fair value gap that we have come in. We have a pretty much textbook. This is a very textbook impulse shift, rapid impulse shift. We have the fair value gap overlapping with that. This creates what ICT calls a balanced price range on both of the fair value gaps. We have two fair value gaps overlapping right here. So this is a very strong signature in price. Am I going to trade it? Probably not. I don't like USD. I don't like CHF pairs. But this is a really, honestly, this is not too bad at all. Monthly, you can see the monthly right here. This is part of the indicator in case you're wondering, which part of the navigator indicator, which does mark out the higher time frame order flow for you right here. That would be this one right here, navigator indicator. You can get this, right? You'll have your lower time frame, and then you can just observe your higher time frame order flow like that you're trading within, right there on this candle, on this nice diagram that it plots right there for you. But yeah, it's not bad. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. But recently, I've literally just come to the conclusion that I don't want to trade USD CHF pairs, and I'll just keep an eye on that. Yeah, this is crude oil. I removed this actually from the Pulse watch list. This is the Pulse watch list. I removed that entirely because it's just not interesting. It's just not interesting. And on the forecast, nothing really changed. So I'd rather not even go over this. It's just chopped. We can just leave it at that. It's mega chopped. Get another one of those. Moving on. I'm sure we can all agree that's like the most chopped chart. Oh, we got a close competitor. We got a close competitor. Obviously, it's not as bad as oil, but it has been really ugly. Gold has been really ugly, and I have not traded in a while just based on how gross of a consolidation. I wouldn't say, yeah, it's a consolidation. How gross of a range we have entered right here. All of this. If you take a look at the monthly, you'll get a better idea as to how ugly this consolidation is. I want to show you something funny right here. You see this? This is the May candle range. Then April comes in. 1 second. I'm getting some things popping up. So this is the May candle range. We had this next monthly candle print. Stayed within that May candle. We had this next June candle. We then stayed inside of that June candle. We had this next July candle. Again, still have not broken out of the previous month's range. So since May, okay, wait, even since April, I didn't even see this. Since April, we have not been able to break out of the previous month's range. So we're just continually getting smaller and smaller and smaller in this little funnel right here. And this is textbook consolidations. This is we don't want to be trading in. And this is why I have not touched gold in a bit of a while right here, ever since we started this consolidation. It's gross. It's gross. We're not getting any sort of manipulation of externals. We're just getting smaller and smaller and smaller into this range. So I'm not really interested in gold right now. I am leaning bullish just because of how strong this uptrend has been. And in bullish trends, the likely thing to happen is just continue pushing higher. Off of what? It could just happen, right? So I'm waiting on gold for pretty much price to just get out of this diabolical range right here. Let me delete everything right here. This is really gross. I'm just not interested trading any of this. Nothing in right here. What's potentially interesting, the externals of this range for potential intraday trades. If we do want to trade this, and if you do want to insist on trading consolidations, what you want to be waiting for is the externals of the range. So you're not trading internal. When you're trading consolidations, your focus has to shift, because internal range liquidity, IRL, fair value gaps, they do not work in consolidations. As you can see right here, fair value gaps do not work in consolidations. So you don't want to be trading them. You want to be focusing on liquidity sweeps and consolidations. So waiting for the externals to get tagged, and then potentially you might get an intraday reversal trade set up like that. Or if we do decide to run it, get fair value gaps through that, daily candle closures through that, 4 hour fair value gaps displacing through that, we can start looking at this high right here, the long towards too. All right, so that's what I'm waiting for on gold. Touch the externals of this range. Not interested in none of this funny business inside of here. Overall, I would want to see higher prices eventually. I would like to just see run these highs, and then we can get some longs up to high. Anyways, that is the gold outlook. Just waiting, essentially. You're waiting on gold. So, silver. What the hell is that being on? So we have this monthly fair value gap right here down below price for the weekly. Weekly bearish expansion candle right here. Currently disrespecting this weekly fair value gap right here. I don't like the way we are currently trading at this. It's actually not. Actually, wait a second. We do have this weekly order block right here, but we do have the monthly fair value gap down below. What we're going to have now, this weekly expansion phase right here, if price does not tag and negate this level, we're going to have a weekly bearish fair value gap pointing lower. There's a lot happening right here, as you can see, which already is an early sign as to you can guess what. You're on a good path, but I'm not liking this right here. We have a daily fair value gap right here. We have the monthly fair value gap down below, but we're also right here at this weekly bullish order block, and we are respecting it higher. Again, this is just something I'm not interested in. There's so many different things that can happen here. We have the monthly fair value gap that we can draw into. We can still potentially move higher off this weekly right here, but we have a daily fair value gap lower that can also push us lower. There's too many things that can happen. Like, there's too many arguments to be made. And you can see that with all the amount of drawings right here that the indicator is plotted. Monthly fair value gap, weekly fair value gap, daily fair value gap. All over the place. All over the place. So I'm not really interested in silver as well. Literally only interested if we come into this monthly, or if we start to negate that weekly level. Potential higher prices might be on the table right there. And we may just want to leave this open. That's silver. Again, it's not too interesting. I would be waiting right here on that monthly fair value gap or that weekly negation. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of mixed signals on that. I don't think it's the clearest. That is a very aggressive retracement lower too into this fair value gap. Not too good. BTC. I think BTC is in one of those extended consolidation cycles, which it likes to do a lot. Nothing too much to gather here on a monthly, just trading at all-time highs. Previous candle just formed new all-time highs right here. We can continue expanding higher. We have prices come into this overlapping area, this weekly fair value area, and we have respected it. So this is that area fair value. By the way, and the indicator marks that automatically for you. That is what this line is. It automatically marks the areas of fair value. So we have respected this weekly level. Do we have a shift in order flow on the daily, 4 hour? Let's see what the daily is telling me after we have touched that weekly level. Are we getting displacements higher? Are we disrespecting bearish premium arrays? We're trying. We have this daily bearish fair value gap right here. We're trying to disrespect it right now. Not doing the worst job at that right now. I would like to see us close above that if we can. We only have 2 hours left though. On a 4 hour basis, let's see, because this is trapped order flow at the moment because price is stuck between a higher time frame premium and discount array. I would not be interested in longing anything right here. I'm waiting for price to displays through this rejection high right here. If we get a new 4-hour for value gap through here, then longs towards previous week's high does look pretty good. But again, all I'm waiting for is price to disrespect this daily. So Bitcoin doesn't look too bad. It has higher time frame context. Going for it. Just waiting right now. It's currently in trapped order flow conditions. Once it gets past this daily, take that with the rejection high, displays through it, new 4-hour for value gaps. That's not bad at all. Moving on to indices. I've never traded copper, for whoever just mentioned that. No, I've never traded copper. Never. I've looked at it. I've had it on my watch list before, but it's just not really interesting to me. Never got into trading it consistently. All right, let's take a look at indices right here. We're going to look at ES and NASDAQ right now, Remo. Something I've been looking into a little more myself and utilizing lately, just sharing what I've been doing in the background with you guys. I have been utilizing YM a little more. I know I've spoken bad about YM before. I know I've said before that I don't use it much. But I am just keeping an eye on it, sort of just seeing how I can fit it in with and seeing how accurate the SMT analysis can be with it if I incorporate it with ES and NASDAQ. Typically, I've only ever looked at ES and NASDAQ, but I am opening up, broadening my horizons right here, and I'm starting to take a look at YM and pair that with this and look for SMT as well between these three. All right. So if we look at the monthly, what you'll notice is we do have SMT at this monthly for value gap down below right here. As you can see on ES and NASDAQ, we have not taken this previous month's low into this for value gap. They all have the same monthly for value gap right there. YM has, right? We do have bullish SMT at that monthly for value gap right there. And we are already, as you can see with this large lower wick, attempting to reject right here. We are attempting to reject right here, and potentially this can form the low of the month. But that's not confirmed yet. Let's continue moving down lower and see what the rest of the story tells. Right, so this is that SMT right here in that monthly for value gap. And what I do like about this is that what I do like about this week and about today, which again was unexpected considering it was a newsless Monday, unexpected to see all this volatility on a Monday. What I do like is that we have negated this level right here. And when I say negated, I think it's the second time I said it on stream. Negated just means that we retraded into it, or we eliminated the possibility of a bearish weekly for value gap happening, right? Because what do we know about for value gaps? It's the gap between first candle's low and the third candle's high for a bearish for value gap. If we negate that and tag into that on the third candle already, well, there's no gap. There's no opposing argument created right there. So what is that? That's a bullish argument. If we negate that, well, that bearish argument has now turned into a bullish argument because now it's not a possibility. So that weekly for value gap, that weekly expansion, bearish expansion candle has been negated. No chance for a weekly for value gap to the downside to form right there. We have SMT on the lows. We're already trying to push higher. On a weekly and monthly basis, this is looking quite bullish already on indices. Going down to the daily, what the daily is telling us. Going on to the daily, what we'll notice, and I'm waiting for my drawings to load, so let's wait for that to come up. I'll actually move over to just these, oh, we could just chill right here. Where's our order flow indicators? It's loading, it's loading. Internet's been tough. But what I do like about this, just to speak on this right now, is that there is no daily bearish for value gap over here on ES. There is a very small one. There we go. There's the order flow indicator. There's a very small one over here with ES. Let me just make this with NASDAQ. Sorry. There's a very small daily for value gap with the NASDAQ right here. Now, you guys know, you should know by now how I feel about these very small for value gaps. And with how much intention we traded back into that, I'm not too keen on seeing. I'm more so interested in seeing this get completely ran over. And I'm leaning more towards that being the possibility as to what happens right here. Why isn't this, 1 second. My drawing's not working. Little marker not working. All right, that's fine. But yeah, this daily for value gap's not something I am too high on actually reversing lower from. Now, if we do want to, which we still can, it is still a potential possibility. Again, I would like to see how price wakes up tomorrow morning, overnight, by the 9:30 a.m. session. I want to see. We will get a little more information as to how price has reacted around here. If we do respect, and for whatever reason, and anything can happen overnight, see a big rejection from this daily for value gap, I'll consider looking short. I'm waiting for it to load right here. But if, again, daily for value gap right here, if we do want to start getting major displacement lower 1 hour for value gaps, 1 hour order flow, 4 hour order flow, start shifting to the downside, I will look at this previous week's low and previous day's low as a potential draw, and this previous month's low as a potential draw, if that does want to happen. Do I think that happens? I'm leaning towards not, and I'm leaning towards potential continued expansion right here, already towards previous month's high and previous week's high. I would like to see, again, how are we reacting by this time over here tomorrow. On Tuesday by 9:30 specifically is when I will be watching. So let's see how price behaves from here to here, and we'll have a better idea as to if we're looking long or short tomorrow. But I am leaning long. I am leaning towards just continued expansion higher up towards these levels. Again, we'll have to react. We'll see how price reacts at this previous day's high sweep right here. All that is stuff that we'll have to wait and see how the New York AM session shapes up, how price is reacting at those key times, 9:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. All right. So that is that right there. One moment. Go to the daily. And I think that's it. Yeah. I think that wraps up the forecast. The main thing with indices, in a nutshell, I am leaning bullish. I will be waiting for how the New York AM session opens to get my bias for that day and what direction I'll be trading in. Again, waiting for the 9:30 open tomorrow because we have no 8:30 a.m. red folder news. And just observing how that open goes. Do we manipulate? Do we hold off and not do anything? And then 10 a.m. gives us the manipulation. Those specific things. So yeah, guys, that wraps it up. Thanks for tuning in. Let me take a look at chat right here real quick. Hope that was insightful. For the monthly IRL SMT, you wait for the 4-hour chain tomorrow. If you want to swing, yes. If we're intraday trading, no. You're not waiting for the 4-hour chain. You can actually just trade the first 4-hour FEG out of it. Just fine. Is your intraday trading. Although I don't think we had that opportunity. Well, maybe we did. Was this a 4-hour for value gap? This was at 2 a.m. on a Monday, and it is this Monday, but this also would have been a nice area to, what I'm talking about. You can trade the first 4-hour for value gap for an intraday trade. Don't take it directly. I'm specifically talking about an intraday trade where you go inside of this 4-hour for value gap and then look for longs out of that. That is what I'm referring to. But if you're swinging and taking direct entries, then yeah, you wait for the 4-hour chain. But over here, I would not enter long directly off of this, for example. Because that might mean that we're respecting this daily for value gap. And we're still not super sure right here as to what's going to happen. We can easily slice through that 4-hour for value gap and reach for these lows, eventually the monthly, and then potentially move higher. So if we do move lower off of this, I wouldn't look to long directly off of this and take a 4-hour swing from here. On this daily for value gap, just keep. I would wait. Disrespect that daily. So we still have this opposing PD area in the way. Although small and likely to fail, it's still something. I would wait. Bradley, what is good, brother? I am late. I'm a day late. But yeah. On BTC, you said you wanted to reject the daily SIBI, but you also wanted to close above. What did I say on BTC? We can't. I don't think we're gonna close above in 2 hours. I mean, if we do, we do. But even if we don't close above, I would just want to see, like, on at least on a 4-hour basis, if we just imagine the daily just closes like that, then I would just want to see the 4-hour displace above that rejection high, and then this area right here can be interesting for longs. Just reject above that daily rejection high right here. 4-hour for value gap already is enough to potentially look long inside of that off of this weekly IRL overlapping area right there. That should be fine. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. But it's time for food. Time to eat, guys. Hopefully that was insightful. We'll be back next week and do another forecast. Sorry I wasn't here for the last couple weeks, but we'll do them more regularly now. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you found this one insightful. And as always, I am in the Discord if you need me, as well as a bunch of our great mods. Very helpful community. And if you are interested in the indicator that you see here, that you saw me use the entire forecast that marks out all the order flow legs, multi-time frame automatically for you, here is the link in chat if you do want to take a look at that and learn more about that. Oh, that was insightful, guys. Appreciate you. Again, I'm in the Discord. Any further questions, hit me up. Peace out. Stay safe this week, and let's